everybody, and welcome to Scorebook Stories. I am your host, Alec. I hope you all are having a wonderful, wonderful day. And if you're sitting there wondering what Scorebook Stories is all about, it is about the beautiful game of baseball. I absolutely love baseball. I've loved baseball forever. And this show is going to be your place to be for major news from around the league. Who broke a record, who is having an unbelievable hot streak, who is having a unprecedented slump, things like that. Anything that is going on around the league that needs to be talked about will be talked about right here on Scorebook Stories, because that's what we do. We tell the stories that are written in scorebooks all around the MLB. I'm going to be giving you my opinion on how teams played and how teams are currently playing and what I think they're going to end up doing down the road moving forward, what I think this team is going to be looking like a couple weeks into the season, or at least for the foreseeable future in between each episodes, which will be weekly. I will be releasing episodes every single Monday, so make sure you are tuned in right here on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you happen to be getting your podcasts, to enjoy every episode of Scorebook Stories. Any transactions that happen throughout the season, if Juan Soto ends up getting traded to another team because he's not playing well with the Mets for whatever reason, but that's a topic for another episode, because we can talk about Juan Soto and that monstrous deal for a very, very long time. But transactions throughout the regular season, those will be talked about right here on Scorebook Stories. Current standings in each division, who's on top, who's looking like a playoff team, and who is looking like they are going to need help at the trade deadline, things like that. Pipeline updates, who has a stud-filled farm system, who has the next Aaron Judge, who has the next Juan Soto, who has the next Freddie Freeman, Max Fried, Aaron Nola, who has him? Where is he at? What organization does he play for? We're going to be talking about that and so many other amazing young ball players who are trying to make their dreams come true by playing in the show. And in between every single episode, we're going to be talking about the big matchups. Who is playing who? Are the Yankees facing off against the Dodgers for a 4-game set in between each episode? What is that going to look like? How are the Yankees going to take on the Dodgers in Dodger Stadium for 4 games in a row? How are the Phillies going to play the Mets now that the Mets have Juan Soto? How is that going to affect the league, the standings, everything? That is the kind of stuff that we are going to be looking at every single episode, which again releases every single Monday. So make sure you are tuned in on Monday, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you happen to get podcasts from, to Scorebook Stories. You also can follow us over on our socials at 7MM Sports, Instagram, Facebook, X. Give us a follow, stay up to date with everything going on, not just here at Scorebook Stories, but so many other amazing, amazing shows. 7MM Sports is your hub for all things Seven Mountains Media Sports. You can watch the latest of Sports Talk with Steve Jones episodes. You can find what station you can listen to your favorite Penn State sports team on, and you can even get live social media updates all the time. All of these things are available along with every single show produced by Seven Mountains Sports over at 7mmsports.com. A little bit about me. I grew up playing baseball pretty much my entire life. Played t-ball all the way up to my senior year of high school. Took a little bit of a break to focus on ice hockey because I had a future to play college hockey. So I took a little bit of a break from baseball to put a little bit more effort into my skills at hockey, which I eventually did go play college ice hockey for 4 years. It was a good time. Absolutely loved it. But my love for baseball always remained number one. I absolutely love the game of baseball. Coached a little bit. I coached a little league team with my dad and one of my very, very good friends who I grew up playing baseball with, Aiden. He was so much fun to coach with. It was a lot of fun to work with him and my dad, who was definitely my biggest influence throughout anything that had to do with baseball. It sounds a little stereotypical, I know, but uh, my dad has been the number one supporter of everything I do. And he got me into baseball and he showed me how to love the sport of baseball. I absolutely can't say enough amazing things about my dad and baseball and how baseball is always such a big emphasis and holds a very special place in our hearts to connect us and create that father son bond. I mean, a lot of people out there have those memories of playing playing catch with their dad in the backyard when they were younger, or they see pictures of themselves when they were, I don't know, just learning how to walk and barely could stand up, hitting a wiffle ball off of a tee with the giant red bat. Like that's something a lot of baseball players grow up and they have experienced, and it just helps solidify and grow that love for this sport. And my dad is no different. He was absolutely amazing. He was one of my coaches growing up. There are so many stories of me playing baseball with my father as a coach that that to this day make me and a lot of my friends that I grew up playing with laugh because they're just awesome. And anybody who has had a parent as a coach, not just in baseball, but any sport in general, the the coaching is a little bit more intense when you're the coach's kid for a good amount of people. But anyway, my dad helped me a lot with developing a love for the sport of baseball. And one of the reasons that I absolutely love the sport of baseball is the myths and the legends. There's so many stories out there surrounding baseball that they just are so intriguing and they capture your attention like right away. For example, Babe Ruth calling his shot. Did he actually do it? We don't really know. I don't believe anyone knows because there are rumors that he was pointing back at the pitcher, talking a little bit of smack, and others say I'm going to hit the ball right over the center field wall, and then he goes and does it. Like it's a myth and a legend, and it's a myth attached to probably the biggest legend in the sport. Another story that I absolutely love listening to is the story of Satchel Paige basically having, I believe it was the bases loaded, and he just called all of the infielders and all the outfielders in and sat them down around the mound while he struck out three straight batters, not allowing a single run. Who does that? Like, what makes you so confident that you can basically go out there and be the only one on the mound, the only one on the field doing anything, and you strike every player out? All three, one, two, three, sit them all down. That's confidence. And that would have been absolutely mind blowing to watch in today's game. Like, could you imagine Garrett Cole telling all of the Yankee players to come sit behind the plate or sit behind the mound and he strikes out three straight? No way that's possible or would even be thought of to do by the most dominant pitchers in today's game. It's unbelievable. Another reason that I absolutely am in love with baseball is that the numbers really don't lie. They tell you everything. You can break them down game to game, month to month, week to week. Career wise, they tell you everything, the highs, the lows of a ball player's career. And you can find every single number you need right out of a scorebook. And baseball, to my knowledge, is really the only sport where a fan can sit in the bleachers and keep track of everything that happens, pitch to pitch, from the first pitch of the game all the way to the last pitch of the game. A fan can just sit there with pen and paper, sit in his scorebook, and write everything out. I encourage you next time that you go to a ball game, whether it's minor league, high school, or an MLB game, doesn't matter. Get yourself a scorebook or pick up, if you're going to a minor league game or a professional game, pick up a program. They usually have a scorecard in the back of the book. Grab yourself one, bring a pen along, and keep track of the game. And then look through it at the end, and you can see every single pitch from first pitch to last, and it is beautiful. You see everything. It is the most in-depth and accurate uh, box scorecard that I think any professional team actually has, and it's my favorite thing to do every single time I go to a ball game, and every single time I'm at a stadium. I buy a hat and I keep track of the game in a scorecard. It's just what I do, and it's a lot of fun. Stay up to date on everything going on in the sports world by heading over to Seven Mountain Sports on Facebook, Seven Mountain Sports on X, on Instagram. We are on all of your favorite platforms, and you do not want to miss out on a single thing going on here at Seven Mountain Sports. The scorebooks tell the story of the game. Anything that is going on from pitch to pitch. Absolutely love it. And that is why we decided to name this show Scorebook Stories. Because no matter what is going on in the league, from game to game, series to series, we're going to have you covered right here at Scorebook Stories. And we're going to tell you the story of every single major event, major series, major game, major matchup. It's going to be right here on Scorebook Stories. So tune in every single Monday, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you happen to be getting podcasts from. We're going to be there. And I really hope that I can do everything in my power to help share my love of the game of baseball with every single one of you. It's not always going to be just me sitting here talking to you. I'm going to do my best to have some of my good friends that I played baseball with on the show. I'm going to try my very best to get interviews with some other college baseball players or hopefully some ex-professionals. I don't know if they'll reach back out to me, but the worst they're going to do is say no. I'm going to try my very best to make this show as enjoyable as possible and get some interesting people on here to just talk some baseball. We're going to talk about their favorite teams, who they like, what they like about their favorite team, why do they love their favorite team, that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about if they were the GM, what would they do differently with their team? We're going to talk about a ton of other different amazing discussion questions like records. So there's some believed to be unbreakable MLB records. Will they be broken? Are there any active players right now that could reach any of those records? I don't know. Who are some first ballot Hall of Famers that are on the field right now? Who are we getting to witness that are first round Hall of Famers? These are conversations that I'm looking to have not only with you as a listener, but with a lot of people that absolutely love the game of baseball. And that's what this show is created for. It is created for the love of baseball. I love it, and I hope that I'm able to share that love with all of you every single week right here on Scorebook Stories.